Welcome back, everyone. It's the Bourbon Judge. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Hopefully you're enjoying your Sunday. And I want to just start off by saying thank you for, obviously for watching the videos. We hit a milestone. We've hit over 700 subscribers. So on the way to the 1,000 mark, which is the I guess like the threshold that everyone aims for. But again, I appreciate you. So today we're going to go ahead and change up just a little bit. So today is the appeals court. So what do you mean, Bourbon Judge, right? That's probably what you're thinking. So these are 3 bourbons, or in this case, a whiskey, that I reviewed previously on different episodes, and all 3 came back as a do not buy, leave on the shelf. All right. Well, most of us, if you really like bourbon and you understand bourbon, you understand that after you've opened the bottle, you poured it, you sipped it, you've enjoyed it for a little bit, throughout time with a little bit of air, kind of airing out a little bit. Once in a blue moon, it kind of changes the flavor a little bit, right? So let's call it the cork is off, right? It gets a little bit of air, it's aired out a little bit. Once in a blue moon, it changes the flavor just a little bit, right? Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. So I figured, you know what? I've had a chance to review all 3 of these with different friends, with cousin Anita, who you guys definitely know. And people have had different, let's call it mixed emotions about these 3. So I was like, you know what? I want to go back and see whether or not did the court make the right decision. I don't know. Let's see. All right. So let's give a little bit of just kind of history about all 3 of these. I'm going to do it very high level. So Woodford Reserve, this is the Woodford Reserve wheat whiskey. I reviewed this a couple episodes ago. Link above for the entire background about Woodford Reserve. But I'll just say from a price standpoint, this is about a $35 bottle of bourbon, right? So $35, easy to get, almost every other liquor store you can pretty much find this, right? Then next we have Elijah Craig, aged 18 years. This is a Heaven Hill product. So when you think of Heaven Hill makes a ton of different bourbons and so forth. Again, this one comes in at age 18 years. And from a price standpoint, this one, well, MSRP is about $135. I did get it for MSRP due to local, again, connections and so forth. And with tax, overall, I paid about $150, right? So very pricey. And that's the price standpoint for that one. This one's a little bit harder to find. Again, link above for the full video, more history about Heaven Hill as a whole. And last but not least, this is Larceny. And this is Larceny's barrel proof. Take a look at that bottle real quick. So Larceny barrel proof, this one, MSRP about $50. This one is actually new to the market. So this one they just started producing in the beginning of this year, right? So they're trying to compete with a lot of other, bourbons that are out there at barrel proof that come out several times a year. So this is the first time Larceny, which is also a Heaven Hill product, produced their version of barrel proof. Traditionally, it's typically the small batch, right? So this one comes in at 123.2 proof. And again, this is the first batch they produced this year, which is the A120. They've since released the second version, which is, I think it was the May 20 version of it. So let's go ahead and get into these. So I opened and I popped Woodford Reserve. So let's go ahead and pour this one. Again at $35. So the first time I reviewed this, I remember saying that, it was very, very fruity, right? Tons of fruit notes, very light, sweet. Again, it is only 90.4 proof. And I remember the reason why I said it was a do not buy was because the finish was just super quick. I'm not that good at snapping, right? I can tell, right? There we go. That's a little bit better. Super quick. I mean, like, I sipped it and it was almost after it went down the palate as if I didn't even sip it. I didn't remember it. So I don't know. Let's go ahead and take a quick peek. Beautiful color. Very nice. Beautiful brown. Let's get to the nose. So my memory is not as bad as my wife says it is. Tons of fruit still from the nose. All like berries, blueberries, blackberries. A little bit of oak. A little bit of cinnamon too. But it's overpowering from a fruit standpoint. Well, as they say, cheers, friends. Okay. So on the palate, definitely still very fruity. The finish, it is quick. Overall, it is quick, but it stays a little bit, right? It stays a little bit in the mouth, in the finish. Let me get a little bit more, just get a full, accurate assessment, as they say. Okay. So everything does transfer from the nose to the palate. This one, actually over time, I don't know why, oddly enough, I taste a little bit more of the oak, right, from the barrel, the aging process. So not bad, right? $35. It's very light, very crisp. It's hot out today. And I will say this kind of goes down nice and smooth. It's a very easy sipping bourbon, or in this case, a wheat whiskey, right? Very smooth and simple. Well, court has made a decision. I have to admit, I've overruled myself. So, initially, I didn't really love this whiskey, right? And I wouldn't say that I love it, but at $35, it's definitely a buy. So I was wrong, I will admit, right? Everyone's allowed to make mistakes in life. This is it's a really decent whiskey, right? At $35, very nice and light, crisp. It's a good whiskey or a bourbon that I think is really good for the occasion, right? So it's nice and hot out on a day like today. This goes down very smooth. It doesn't burn. Has tons of the fruit with a little bit of the oak as well. And it's actually much better than I remembered the first time, I will say that. So because of the price standpoint and because it's a nice whiskey that's easy to find, I'm gonna overrule myself and give this a verdict of buy. Congrats, Woodford Reserve. I was wrong. All right. Goodbye, Woodford. Let me get a little bit of water real quick to cleanse the palate. All right, on to the Heaven Hill products. I'm gonna start with Larceny, barrel proof. So now I'm going up big time from 90 to 123.2. You know what? I'm gonna change that. I have a hard time, and many people out there, if you really sip bourbon and you understand bourbon, it's hard to go from 90 to like a barrel proof and then come back down to this one only being 90 proof, or 90 proof as well, right? Very hard to kind of go up that ladder and come back down, because once that boldness hits you, you want to almost stay at that level. So I'm gonna stick at the same level here with the Elijah Craig age 18 years. And this one as well is 90 proof. All right. So the first time around, I gave this a do not buy as well because the finish was super, super quick. Now, what was nice about it was that it had tons of oak, right? Tons of oak, a little bit of like caramel and brown sugar. But again, being in the barrel for 18 years, you get a ton of flavor from the barrel, right? And that's really what I picked up. But again, the finish was so quick, it just didn't make sense at $150. Has my judgment changed? I don't know. Let's see. Again, you can see the full episode link above to get all the history about this particular bourbon and about Heaven Hill as a whole. Nice color, nice and dark. All right, this one's sitting about in the barrel for a long time. From the nose, nice and just very like smoky, oaky, tons of like brown sugar. A little hint of like cinnamon as well. Very nice. Nice from the nose. Let's see how this one pans out. Cheers. Very nice. Very light. Tons of oak. The oak is like the main thing, right? When I think about this bourbon, the one thing that just stands out is the oak. It's there. It's a very smooth finish, even smoother than the Woodford, oddly enough. A smooth finish, very just quick, smooth, nice and light, but tons of flavor as well, right? Let me get a little bit more. All right, so the court has made another decision. The judgment is in. This remains a no buy. Folks, honestly, at $150, what I'm sipping, I want it to be something that's memorable. And while there's a ton of flavor in this, tons of flavor, tons of oak, tons of a little bit of like, well, not tons, but a little bit of like brown sugar and caramel kind of mixed in there as well. Is it good? Yes. But is it $150 good? No, it's not. Honestly, I think this is truly deserving of like a $80 to like $100 mark, right? Right at like maybe max 100, but 150, it's not a $150 bourbon. So great job, Elijah Craig. Maybe increase the proof a little bit more to kind of bring out a little bit more of that that flavor of the profile as a whole and make it kind of stand a little bit more or a longer lasting finish, as to say, and then it's probably worth it. But at 150, it's not there. Sorry, Heaven Hill. All right. So the judge remains by his original verdict. Cleans the palate a little bit there with some water. All right, and we're gonna finish off with yet another Heaven Hill product. All right, so the Larceny Barrel Proof. Again, this is the A120, so the first version that they came out with. And this one, I said, I believe, kind of going off memory here as well, that it just wasn't well-rounded, right? The ethanol was extremely forward in the finish for this one. It wasn't well-rounded. The ethanol just kind of kicked you. And not so much just because of that 123 proof. It just wasn't, I don't know, maybe the age, right? I think the age is anywhere from like 6 to 8 years. I believe they just maybe need to age a little bit more, right, in the barrel so that it kind of becomes a bit more well-rounded. And that's the reason why I did not like this one. Again, I've shared this with different family members and friends. I know cousin Anita, she really liked this one. But let's see whether or not if the judge likes it 2.0. Again, link above for the full episode, full video. Now this one has a very dark brown compared to these other two, extremely dark. All right, let's get into the nose. So, completely different than these two. Fruit over here with Woodford. This one here, tons of oak. This one's just screams just brown sugar and caramel only. All right, I think I'm ready. Cheers for the last time. For today, that is. Whew. Wow. That just sneaks up on you and just, bow, hits you. Goodness gracious. All right. Some bourbon here, not a lot left. So I wouldn't do it justice if I didn't finish it. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish it. Whew. All right. That, I can easily say without a doubt, remains the same. That is an absolute no buy. Do not buy it today. Don't buy it tomorrow. Don't buy it next week. Maybe in the fall winter version, the third version that they come out with, I hope Heaven Hill fixes the Larceny Barrel Proof. It's just too much. So the reason why, right? The reason why is too much brown sugar. It's almost like it's like burnt, right? It's like a burnt brown sugar, burnt caramel, and the ethanol just goes up and just smacks you in the finish. The finish is lung, which I'm okay with the lung finish, but my mouth feels like it just almost like just ate like brown sugar and caramel that was just like burnt, right? That's what I feel like I just kind of ate almost. I almost swallowed, right? Very, very it just missed the mark on all levels. I love Heaven Hill with the rest. This is good. The Henry McKenna, the Old Fitzgeralds, phenomenal Heaven Hill products. This one, not so much. They really need to work on it big time. It is what it is. I call it like it is. Well, folks, as we say, thank you for watching today's video. If you haven't done thus far, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next week. Peace.